tell us, take a look.
I'm going to tell you the story about the 3 wishes. Once upon a time, a long time ago, lived a woodsman in a great big forest, and every day he went out to the forest to cut some wood. So one day, as he was heading out, the good wife packed his bag and filled his bottle so he would have something to drink, and slung it on his back as he made his way out to the forest. Earlier that day, he had picked out a huge oak tree that he thought would make for some good wood. So he grabbed his axe and slung it behind his head like he thought he could get it down in just one chop. But before he could swing, he heard a small little voice coming from behind the tree. "Stop, stop, please, please, sir, please save the tree." And the woodsman was shocked. He looked down, and there was a fairy. The fairy was praying and begging him, "Please, please don't cut down the tree." And the woodsman was shocked, and he couldn't find words to speak. But when he finally got his tongue back, he looked at the fairy and said, "Well, I'll do as you wish." And the fairy said, "Oh, thank you, you've done more for yourself than you know. To show that I'm not ungrateful, I'll grant your next 3 wishes." And the fairy disappeared and was never seen again. The woodsman gathered his things and headed on his long way home, still shocked and scared of what had happened earlier that day. When he got home, he had nothing in his head but wanted to sit down and relax. And as he was sitting by the big fire, he was hungry. He grew hungry and walked over to the good wife and asked, "Is there anything for supper?" And she looked at him and said, "Not for a couple more hours." And he was like, "Oh," in hunger, and said, "I wish for the best link of sausage the heart of a man could wish for." And whoosh, right down the chimney, the best link of sausage the heart of a man could wish for appeared. And if the woodman stared, the good wife stared 3 times longer. "What is that?" she said. And the woodsman thought back to the day ahead. And told the story from beginning to end. And when he was finished, the good wife looked at him and said, "You are crazy, and I wish that sausage was at thy nose." And the woodsman's nose grew 3 times longer as the sausage dangled from his nose. And he pulled, but it stuck, and she pulled, but it stuck, and they both pulled so hard that the nose nearly fell off, but it stuck. And so the woodsman was, "What do we do now?" And the good wife said, "Well, I don't know, but it sure is unsightly." They both thought and thought, and the woodsman realized, "I have one more wish, but I better wish quickly." And he wished that the sausage would fall from his nose, and there it lay, and a dish on the table. And though the good wife and the woodsman may not have a golden carriage, or satin or silk clothing, they do have the finest link of sausage the heart of a man could wish for on their table for supper. The end.